I'm in Jersey for a boat test, but it's a boat test with a difference. Because the boat I'm testing is the one behind me, no, not the Duck, the Ferretti 450. And rather than the trip up and down the coast, we're taking this one cross channel. We're leaving Jersey shortly, and we're heading for Poole. So we're on board the boat, just making the last preparations to leave. Before we go, I'm just going to give you a very quick run through of the interior of this boat, just so you can see what it's all about. We'll start out here in the cockpit. Now the important thing to mention is, of course, this boat is completely closed down for delivery, so all the cushions are off and inside. But nonetheless, at least we can see the layout. So we'll start on the flybridge and have a quick look up here. What they've done with this is they've made this a really good length, so it runs right pretty much to the back. So you've got a great seating area just around the back there. This in here is the bar area, obviously space for a barbecue there if you want it, and they put the sun pad up at the front alongside the helm just there. As I say, all the cushions are off at the moment, as you would expect, because it's a brand new boat and they want to keep it perfect for the next owner. So let's come on down and have a quick look on the inside. So Ferretti have gone for a galley aft layout with this one, as is the norm these days, so that's back just there, and then you have a bit more galley area over here with the fridge freezer in there. That's a decent size. And then there's a step up here, and that takes us up to a really quite decent sized saloon area. There's some nice big cushions on the seats, and then the helm position is up here. So let's have a look downstairs. Now it is, as you'd expect these days, a full beam master cabin, and this is what I mean about the cushions. So all of the exterior cushions are here, but what I'll do is I'll overlay a photograph of this as it should be, and you can see how it looks when everything is in place. Not quite sure what these are on the floor here. They look like rocket launchers to me, which is slightly concerning, but never mind. I'm sure there's a method there. TV on the wall at the back there. And then as we come further forward, well, first of all, there's an ensuite access just there to the heads, and then as we head on through the boat, interestingly, this is a 3-cabin layout. So there is a guest cabin here that has got bunk beds in and a stowaway, and then in through here is your VIP cabin. So 3 cabins, and this one has ensuite access just there to the day heads, which is just here. So 2 heads, 3 cabins. Nice layout, and actually really nicely finished. This woodwork looks really good. Right, there we go. We'll head on back through. Lovely. And that's the size of it. Next stop, hopefully, Poole. We're just leaving Jersey and we're powering up onto the plane. And I have to say, I'd much rather be on this 45-foot twin diesel flybridge than on this guy's boats. I'm sure they'll be fine, but yeah, they're practically going to the same place as us, and rather them than me. Good luck, guys. Bye bye. Just gone 10 o'clock and we are cruising at about 20 knots. We reckon about 5 hours for the trip, and we've got southerly winds, which is good news because it means that the wind is behind us, and apparently we get a little bit interesting across the first bit because the wind is against tide, but then once we get around the corner and start heading up, then things should improve. So this is definitely a place to be, very comfortable and reasonably quiet, even with the doors open. So we're now an hour into the trip and making very good progress actually. The sea conditions are good and we're cruising, well actually we're cruising about 26 knots, but we're picking up a couple of knots of tide and that's taking us up to about 27, 28 knots, so making really good progress. We are approaching the Alderney race and we're approaching Alderney on our port bow, a little way away from it yet, Cherbourg on our starboard bow. So going well so far and covering some ground. It's very pleasing. So it's now about 12:15. We're well out into the channel now and we're about 12-14 miles past Cherbourg, well out into the shipping lanes. In fact the traffic separation zone is off to our west at the moment. A couple of big ships about, but nothing to trouble us too much. We've lost that bit of tidal assistance that we had. Obviously the tide is now running across us rather than with us, but we're still getting about 25 knots, still cruising very nicely. And the boat feels great, feels very solid out here. We've got the doors shut now, so it's a bit quieter and it's a comfortable place to be. Feels good, and if I can use my hackneyed expression, it feels confidence inspiring. It feels like a comfortable place and well within its limits out here. So cracking on well. I reckon we've got about another hour and a half, maybe hour and 3/4 to go until we hit Old Harry. But hopefully these conditions will remain and it'll be a good crossing. This is what it's looking like out there. Land ho, it is now 1:15 and we're picking up the Dorset coastline now. It's just fairly grey ahead of us. I don't know whether you actually be able to see it on here. You might be able to. Let's have a look. But all is very well aboard the good ship Ferretti 450. We are running at about 25 knots still and we're using about 80 litres of fuel per engine per hour, so it's pretty efficient for a style of boat. But it's again, as I said earlier, it's a comfortable place to be. Its noise levels are low and the journey has passed fairly effortlessly really. We've got about probably about another 30 minutes before we're actually in, and then we're going to do a bit of speed testing and boat handling testing and get the figures, and then it'll be into Poole and journey over. But yeah, excellent trip so far, really good. The last part of this test is just to have a quick go with the handling and have a drive from up here, since we've been inside pretty much all the way. So what we find up here is a really good helm position in terms of the visibility, because you sit fairly well forward and so your sight line to the front, you're very high and you've got great visibility, and you also sit sort of fairly well in the boat. This rail here is reasonably high, so although the side of the flybridge is quite low, you feel like you're in it rather than on it, and then you've got your helm ahead of you here. Anyway, let's go a bit of throttle. One thing I have found with these engines, it's very effortless up onto the plane. It's got the larger of the two engines, it's got the 550 horsepower Cummins engines, and it's just simply a case of dialing on a bit more throttle to get a bit more speed. You're not having to sort of give it a fistful to get on the plane and then back off. Top speed on this boat, well, we saw about 30 knots out of it earlier. That's obviously fairly fully laden in terms of fuel. Burned a bit coming across the channel, but we filled up before we left. 4 people on board. But a comfortable cruising speed. Looks like we're doing coming across really. About 25 knots. It's very comfortable, and up here it's fairly quiet. You get a little bit of resonance as the exhaust clears, she rolls, but other than that, pretty much the noisiest thing, as you can probably hear, is the water feeding past the hull. So it's a bit like being downstairs. It's a relaxing drive, it's a comfortable boat, and again it feels solid and it feels pretty effortless. You've got a vertical wheel, like that, which is right ahead of you, so it's really easy to reach. And the handling is typical shaft drive style handling. So you put it into a turn, it banks over and goes round. It's not as super direct as pods, it's that more relaxed shaft drive gate. But it suits the boat very well. And as a cruising boat, and as we've proven today, it works brilliantly. Anyway, that's Poole ahead. It's time to tuck back into there and finish the journey. It's been a good day out.